Like I said, it sounds like everybody has their own little Diddy story, in a sense, right? But one person who doesn't necessarily have a Diddy story that they want to share, of course, they have plenty footage of it though, would be someone that everyone would think would be a little bit more vocal during this, but hence he's been just as quiet as everyone else, if you will.
Mic check, mic check.
1, 2, 3. Okay, we ready, y'all. Welcome back to Cited. It's your girl, Ra Ali. And first things first, I want to shout out the Cited crew. You guys been rocking with me for years now, and I don't take that lightly. This platform, this company, is my baby, and the way you guys show up in the comments, repost, support has been phenomenal. So thank you for those numbers. Those numbers mean everything. Today's guest is very special, and honestly, this one is long overdue. From moving here at 13 from Morocco to the Bronx, basketball courts, hood DVDs, hospital beds, public scandals, platinum plaques, and world tours, this man has lived a life. And today, we're gonna pull back the curtain over these past years, not just in music, but as a man as well. How does it feel stepping into this version of yourself?
I feel blessed.
Right.
Feel like I'm growing,
He truly didn't want to answer that question. That's why he's looking like that too, because it's such a cliche question to ask someone like that, as well as it's such an open-ended question. Like, why would you even that? Why would that be the first question? He's been asked that over 10,000 times now.
I did a lot, but still got a lot to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Man, just it's a different journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Still the same.
A lot of times I notice that when you know certain people in the industry, they'll be one way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as they grow and they make changes, they get brand new, right?
Yeah.
But you're someone who I can say wholeheartedly has stayed a real dude throughout the entire process.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see you off camera and you act one way and then see you, on camera and now you're trying to front like you somebody else. Like you have been consistent. It's been over 10 years.
Exactly.
So that's respect,
Thank you.
For real,
You don't get trophies for that,
Right.
It's like when you somebody solid that, you never ratted, you never switched up, you never did this, you never did that. You don't get trophies
get rewarded
for
it.
It's the new norm. Oh, you're supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? So for all the real ones out there, you never get what you're supposed to get for. But for somebody that switched on somebody, they're on the they're on the headlines, or somebody ratting, they still selling records. It's a whole different world.
Yeah.
So I appreciate myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate everybody that's still.
I mean, he started out okay, right? It started out at least he wanted to at least be a part of this interview. He got comfortable after a while, but he was like, oh damn, I see where this shit gonna go. Another man's never went to another man's freak off. I would hope not. Don't be French Montana, all right? Don't be French Montana the way you've been in your own little freak offs one-on-one with Diddy like Meek, and then you try to just sidestep like you Homer Simpson in the bushes, and you're no longer associated with the freak offs. Don't be like French Montana now. Own your shit.
Solid. If you're a solid dude out there, stay like that. Don't change.
It's not many.
Yeah, so, you're not supposed to be accepted by this new generation. You know what I'm saying? Be accepted by yourself when you go to sleep.
That's right. That's what's up. I like that. You better stay like that, too.
1,000,000%. It's like a 15-year friendship, man. I knew you for like 15 years.
And you haven't been brand new at all. Not one time.
Of
not
course.
once. I want to know, was there a moment that you could actually remember? Mm-hmm. Was that moment where you was just like, I'm ready to make this change?
I think it was life molding me. I don't think it was me making the change. I think it was life changing me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I was playing basketball, started hustling. I got locked up. They said, you about to get deported. So it molded me to go do something that I won't get deported for. So that was just Allah showing me, look, go make some music because that's where your passion is at, and that's what you're supposed to do. So, sometimes you're not supposed to figure life out. Life will figure you out. Mm-hmm. The universe will shape you to whoever you're supposed to be.
And you just go with it.
Yeah.
So you made some big moves, behind the music. You opened a healthcare center in Uganda. You become the first rapper named as a global citizen ambassador. You performed at the World Cup, the first Moroccan ever.
Yeah.
What's the moves behind the scene that's making you break these barriers? What's the motivation? What is it? What's the plan?
I mean, when you come from North Africa and you go to the Bronx, I think that's I think that's a remix within its own. I feel like it's two different worlds that when they come together, you get like, you know, it's like you mixing two breeds of, you know, Bronx is just savage life, and Morocco is just like you come from the depth of not knowing what's next because nobody makes it out. So it's like your mentality, like you just train to like, okay, if I don't go crazy, I'm not gonna make it out. So that mentality stays with me to this day. It's like, how can I get to that next level? How can I elevate? How can I do, like when FIFA World Cup hit me to do the opening ceremony, it was like, okay, now, you know, they're finally recognizing that there's Moroccans out there that, you know, it's vibing.
What was the energy like? How did it feel? You know what I mean? Was it a
it's
different
crazy.
feeling from when you're doing a concert? Like,
I mean, to have 60,000 people in the stands, 150 million people watching, and to have 1 billion impressions.
okay.
You know, so it's like it's a lot, and FIFA is like, a lot of people say it's bigger than the Super Bowl because it's a worldwide thing. You know, so it's big. So it's bigger than football here. So it's like you're looking at a sport that's like, you know, like Messi is like the president of the world.
Right.
It's like it's something that's so big. So I feel blessed.
That's
And
what's up.
as far as philanthropy work, you know, from the hospital in Africa to all the schools in Morocco and all the, you know, that's just something that I want to continue doing. I want to continue to help.
Your energy is like I said, you've always been amazing, but your energy is radiating and just positivity. You have a calmness about yourself. So I want to know, besides being completely sober at all times, is there a special lady in your life that's motivating some of this stuff as well?
I'll skip that one.
Okay.
I just want to keep my private life.
Oh, okay. So you don't want your personal business all out in the media?
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I feel like
Okay.
every time it hit the media, it was down to shit after that.
Okay. I respect that.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, we don't got nobody commenting on our relationship right now. I don't need extra comments on relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No problem. Real fast, I want to talk about Max B.
Yes.
Someone who
See how comfortable he was up until this point, it seemed like? And then all of a sudden, the shit just went left. Like, she started to ask the correct questions. Like, she really did. She was even asking about getting into his Moroccan past and whatnot. I think she should have detailed that. Or should I say, she should have emphasized more on his Moroccan past and actually started to, like, go into that type of thing. But the fact that she actually just said, fuck it, and just go all over the place almost. Or maybe they cut that part out to when she started to get a little deeper, right? Because she started to get a little bit personal with asking, like, is there a lovely lady in his life? But he never actually answered. French will never answer that question, by the way. The closest that you've ever seen him with an actual girlfriend was Khloe Kardashian. And, of course, he had to say, nah, that's just a friend, as he always does. But here's where where it seems like the questions started to get a little bit personal for him.
has been a big part of your journey from the very beginning.
Yeah, he's coming home on my actual birthday.
Really?
The day of my birthday, Max will be coming home.
That's crazy.
Let's get ready.
Now, the streets want to know, he has a lot of history with Jim.
Yeah.
Is it beef, squashed? Are you in the middle of trying to, rectify that? Maybe they could do a collaboration or something?
Man, that's so 18 years ago.
Like
I don't
nobody
think
cares?
I don't think Jim worried about it, and I don't think Max is worried about it.
Okay.
I don't think that's something that's even on their mind.
All right. But speaking of beefs, I do have to ask you, what's the status of things with Ross and Drake?
Hold this. Catch.
Hold it.
Touchdown.
You see how he started to get uncomfortable with the whole beef questions? As soon as she mentioned Jim Jones in Max B, instead of asking really about Max B, it felt like French just started to realize, like, nah, she's about to start to get into the whole gossipy thing, and I'm not necessarily here for that.
I'll be right back. I think I double parked my car outside.
You double parked? Okay.
Yeah. Right back.
Where is he going?
I think he left.
I'm asking questions not to railroad you or make you feel uncomfortable.
I'm speaking on behalf of the audience, the viewers, the fans, the last situation they seen you in. What's the status of those things?
All right, so, I mean, this is not your first interview with him, though. You've interviewed him before.
Yes, I interviewed him before, but it was on the phone.
Got you.
Only it wasn't video. So
has this ever happened with you guys before?
never,
Woo!
never.
Crazy.
My friendships are long lasting. My friendships are mutual respect, as we said in the interview. And I really was just asking the questions that I know that the people want to know. And you know what else? He's going to finish that interview. He's going to finish it.
Needless to say, he did not finish that interview. Needless to say, he did not finish that interview whatsoever. She checking to see if he actually double parked. Like, she went actually to the parking lot. She went actually to the parking lot. But no, see, that's the thing, right? French has never been the one to answer those type of questions. If you look at all his interviews, he's never done beef questions like that. Like, the old Coke Boy music and let's say Coke Boy DVD, the old Coke Boy DVD French Montana is gone. That's gone. Because the Coke Boy DVD French Montana wouldn't give a fuck and would talk about beef like that. And know what I'm saying, notice how, like I said, he got very uncomfortable when she asked about Jim Jones. Because if you don't know the actual history of that, right? See, here's the thing. She said it herself. Not the first time that she knew, or should say that she spoke to French Montana. That's not the first time that she spoke to French Montana. It's not the first time you spoke to French Montana. You know from experience, that's a touchy subject once. You tapped him once with Jim Jones, because if you know the actual history between Jim Jones, Max B, and French, you know that there were actual shootouts on the street. You know that there was actual shit that happened, and Max B going to jail. People say Jim Jones is the reason Max B is in jail. All right? Quiet as kept. People say that's the reason that he is even in jail to begin with. So that's a touchy subject for French. Then you couple it with asking about Drake and Rick Ross. That's what I said. If you would have asked him about Ross, he probably wouldn't have got up. But the fact that you asked him about Drake and Rick Ross, and he didn't know how to combat the question because he wasn't ready to be asked that question. Like, I'm pretty sure they went over preliminaries. That's another thing too, right? You're not high up there to where you're like an ABC News, and even the ABC News is going to go over preliminaries of what I can ask you, what I can't ask you, that type of thing. I don't think you had clearance and even asked French that you were going to ask that type of question and would it offend him, right? Because like I said, if you have done your actual homework, you would have known that the Jim Jones thing was a touchy subject with Max B. That's the first thing. The second thing was you would have noticed that was a touchy subject between Drake and Rick Ross, especially with what Drake is going through with the lawsuits and things like that. French doesn't want to touch that. Drake is going through a whole UMG lawsuit, okay? French doesn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. That's one thing. Second thing is Ross just put out a diss track. Not just put out, of course, but last year, Ross put out a diss track against Drake in which he said on the track, you put out that cease and desist on my boy French Montana, okay? So those that don't know, and remember on the channel here, there was a cease and desist on French Montana's album, okay? There was literally a cease and desist that people were saying Drake sent on French Montana's album that was supposed to come out, right? In which the album did not come out. Now, on top of that, here's the other kicker in the ass. Here's the other kicker in the ass for French Montana, right? The other kicker in the ass, besides the cease and desist that ended up actually being true, right? Let's just say the two kickers in the ass. Drake is on the album. So number one, he had the ability to stop French Montana's album. Here's the other, the real kick in the ass was the fact that Drake and Diddy were a part of the I think it's called Survive or Saving Khadijah. I think it's called Saving Khadijah, something like that. The actual documentary and movie about his mom's struggle from Morocco to get him over here to the States. There was an actual movie in the works that just got shut down because of this cease and desist that happened. So imagine you have this business relationship and sort of friendship with Diddy and Drake, and all of a sudden all that shit just goes to shambles, and you're trying to do a documentary about your mom, right? About your mom's struggles and whatnot. Like, she didn't even go into that part, right? That was a touchy thing for French. So you're mentioning, yo, what happened with you, Drake, and Ross? What do you mean my feelings on Drake and Ross? Do you not know what the fuck is going on out here, you stupid Why are you asking me about this? Oh, you trying to get something out of me? All right, bet. I got this. Here, hold this. Touchdown. I saw right then and there. Like, you asked me about who just now? Knowing that that's a bad way to ask me? Or you just jumped into it. That's what I'm saying. You just kept jumping into beef. As the camera cut after he asked about the Jim Jones and Max B thing, notice how, like I said, the camera cut and it was an edit part. I am pretty sure in between that, French said, yo, don't do none of that. Don't ask me about none of that dumb shit. And then she went into, what's your feelings about Drake and Ross? And I'm pretty sure his mom was like, you know what? I just told you don't ask me about none of that dumb shit. You know what? just toss the shit off. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's it for me. I'm done. I'm completely done with you. You know all these subjects are super touchy for me, and yet you just keep poking the bear. You just keep on poking the bear. Why you choose to do this, I don't know. You must want some type of clout. You must want some type of you must want a headline for your show or whatever. But now you just got a barely 9-minute interview from me, in which you could have had something very not Tasha K-ish, but you could have had something, very valuable to put out there in the streets and for your own content. Now, you're just a joke short. Now you're just a joke short to him leaving on the interview. All because you didn't want to follow certain guidelines and just, be respectful. Where's my water at? And be respectful of asking certain questions or whatnot. Like I said, you can tell that French got uncomfortable at a certain point. It wasn't just he just got up from the Drake and Ross question, like everybody making it look like he's just trying to avoid it. No, he got offended when you asked him about Jim Jones and Max B. Like, oh, is there beef there still? Is there tension? And of course, the camera cuts. He doesn't want to get too detailed into it. He's probably like, look, don't ask me about no dumb shit like that. If you want to talk about my personal life and ask me about that shit like that and, promote the good things and the good vibes of my life, yeah, do that. But don't put me in no bullshit drama for your clips and whatnot, because I'm not here for that right now. I'm trying to stay away from all the Diddy drama and the Drake drama and all that. I'm trying to stay away from all that right now, ma. But since you wanted to go there like that, here, hold this L. Hold this L. Hold this L. Then he told her to hold the headphones, but he threw them at her. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he wasn't with that shit. He wasn't with that shit. He should have had a list of things not to mention. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm pretty sure that they did some type of pre-production. And, I would think, see, that's the thing. As an interviewer, you were supposed to ask ahead of time, hey, is there anywhere I'm not supposed to go? Is there any subject too touchy for you? Tell me ahead of time and I won't mention it, that type of thing, right? You're supposed to at least do that. You're supposed to very much make the artist, or should I say the person you're interviewing, very comfortable. And they're supposed to have knowledge of what the questions are going to be so that they have better understanding of how to answer them at some points. Don't just gut punch them like that. That's not professional. That's not a professional interview. And like I said, if you're looking for clickbait questions, then you should have, of course, let him know ahead of time that there were going to be some tense questioning. Number one. Number two, you're not that type of platform to where he is even comfortable in letting out this type of thing, right? He doesn't know you like that to let out these type of things. You said, oh, I interviewed him before once and it was just over the phone. You probably didn't even do that. You probably just had a conversation with him over the phone to get an understanding of when and where you can actually do an interview with him. That type of thing, but not an actual interview, because if you did an actual interview or you knew him like that, saying, oh, my friendships are long lasting, obviously you just fucked up one because you didn't necessarily pay attention or do your research on what was touchy to French. And like I said, the way you jumped around in the questioning until you finally got to your clickbaity section of things, that's when French, like I said, French is a, 10, 15-year veteran in this shit, almost 20 years. Yeah, he's about 20 years. He's about a 20-year veteran in this shit. Like, French's been around since the early 2000s. French is a 20-plus year veteran in this fucking industry. You think he doesn't know about clickbaity questions? Like, he used to do a DVD vlog himself going around getting interviews and whatnot. You seriously think it does not know what you're trying to do ahead of time? It kind of seemed like her first time, like he was throwing her a bone. That's what I'm saying. Like, even if he was throwing her a bone, right? She didn't do a good job of catching it. She kind of had a dunce dog moment, to where she just looked at the bone. She dropped the bone and then looked at it. That's literally what happened there. So, of course, like I said, when you make someone very uncomfortable in the interviews, you have to be prepared of what comes with that as well. Once he said that, I got a double pump my car after you asked that question, I would have said, before you go, was that a bad question to ask you? That would have been the first thing that came out of my mouth. Was that a bad question to ask you? And like I said, ahead of time, you should have known that was a bad question to ask you.